Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Arkham Horror the card game, doing the Half-Life custom campaign. Alright, we're on the second to last scenario, so let's do this. Critical Mass. The Resistance sets about final preparations for the mission, while the scientists brief you on specifics. The alien agents occupy a combined structure connected to the City 4 power plant, diverting much of its power to their own facility. The projects, whatever they may be, are large-scale to say the least, but are nevertheless secondary to Nyarlathotep's scheme. You must free the Vortigaunts, or the universe will plunge into madness. You exchange final good lucks and farewells with the scientists before you depart through hidden channels back into City 4. Combined patrols haunt each leg of the journey, but the experienced members of the Resistance manage to lead you through quickly and quietly. By the time you stand at perimeter of the power plant, you can feel a tangible distortion in the atmosphere. If we have a vortal attunement, which we do discordant song. A feeling like a pulsing migraine begins to creep into your head the closer you draw. If your limited affinity is having such a strong reaction, then you can only guess what torment the Vortigaunts must be enduring. Alongside the Resistance Vanguard, you breach the security of the power plant, thrumming alarms echo down its halls and into the connecting buildings within moments of your entrance. There's no hiding this attack, and no sense of being cautious now. Everything is on the line for the past, present, and future. Alright, so usual stuff. We got the Yithian forces. I think I got Yithian on my previous playthrough as well. I don't think I've ever done a playthrough with the Migo. Then there's a bunch of expectations, which we've already done ours, so we don't need to worry about these. And then let's see. Put the power plant location into play. Randomly put 4 copies of Combine Facility revealed side up and 1 copy of the Research Nexus locations into play. If the forced effect on the back of the Research Nexus would immediately trigger, replace it with a different random copy of the Research Nexus instead. Set each other aside. Alright, we do start at the power plant, which is right here. And then we got... And was it revealed side up? Okay. So these have been set up. And then if Research Nexus is connected to the locations with the triangle and heart symbol, and you do the stuff. Okay, it doesn't automatically trigger, so we don't need to replace it. Okay. All right. With all that, let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and read up on this. So, Research Nexus is connected to the 2 closest copies of Combine Facility, and vice versa. If the Research Nexus is connected to those symbols I mentioned before, and there are fewer than 2 copies of the Research in the Victory display, replace it. Move Research Nexus to the Victory display, still unrevealed, instead of setting aside. Otherwise, reveal it. Okay. So if there are fewer than 2 copies in the Victory display, you replace. Okay, yeah. So what you do, and it says, okay. So if there are 2 copies of Research Nexus in the Victory display, you do reveal instead. Okay, and then of course you got these things here. Force Shroud 2 Combine Facility, Force Shroud 2 clues, Lightning Bolt. Investigators may, among all copies of Combine's facility, can spend 2 clues as a group to replace this copy. And then action: investigators among all copies of Combine facility exhaust 4 total assets they control to replace this location. After the replacement, you may exhaust 2 additional assets to move to a connecting location. So all these essentially have multiple ways of replacing the copies. Spending clues, of course, is faster with lightning bolts, and the action step generally requires you to do either test or exhaust resources or do something else. Pretty similar to the testing facility that we went through. And of course, each of them have their own shrouds, and I think all of them have 2 clues. Alright, they also have their own little connections amongst each other. Power plant. The Combine allied technicians have fled in the face of the attack, but the plant remains stable. Without knowing what state the Vortigaunts are in, shutting off all power would be too risky. Alright. Replacing locations. Certain card effects in this scenario will replace locations. When this occurs, the location in play is set aside, out of play, unless otherwise directed, and a set-aside location with a matching name is put into play in its place. Investigators and enemies at the original location are not defeated during this process. Each token on the original location is moved to the location entering play. When a location enters play this way, place clues on it up to its clue value. Any clues moved from the previous location count towards this maximum. Each card attached to the original location is attached, blah, blah, blah. Okay. When replacing locations, you may choose unless otherwise specified, but you cannot choose locations that are already in play. Okay, so that's good. We can actually pay attention to these replacing then. So these ones we actually know. This one, on the other hand, I might have to check a few things, but that's okay. But yeah, the setup is like this. That's all good. Alright, shuffle the encounter deck. Agenda 1A, Whisper. There are 2 agendas. The first one is Whispers Out of Time. As your escorts maintain the power plant, you turn your attention in full to the alien menaces that have threatened you since the Resonance Cascade struck Arkham. While the facility is primarily staffed by the enlisted agents, a combined security force patrols the compound as an extra precaution. The moment you move against the aliens, you can be sure that the combined overlords will know about it. 6 doomed to advance. And then there are 3 acts. Security bypasses the first one. Even before you set foot in the facility proper, it's clear that the whole compound exists in a twisted space. Each path that might lead to the facility's command center somehow redirects you to another sector entirely. Only careful study of the rest of the facility and manipulation of its systems will tell you if you can somehow infiltrate the core. Investigators cannot enter Research Nexus. After Research Nexus is revealed, you must immediately advance. Okay. If there are fewer to... Instead of setting aside. Okay, yeah, that all makes sense. And you do get to choose, I guess. I mean, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, I guess. So we'll move all this over. There's our other options. Okay. Because, yeah, I think all of them require completely different symbols. Yep, they do. Okay, good to know. I read all of that. Oh yeah, tokens. Skull is -1 if you would reveal. If you would succeed by 3 or more, you have to reveal another token. Cultist is -3 if you succeed by 2 or more and are at a copy of Combine Facility. You may replace it. And then Tablet is -3 if you fail and there are no Yithian or Miko enemies in play. You draw the topmost Yithian or Miko enemy in the encountered discard pile. And that is everything. And we already have our 2 tablets. Okay, let me put a break here. Okie dokie, let's do this. Shuffle and draw. Oh, also we have our Vortal Attunement again, which should have 2 uses again. Alright. Okay, Gravity Gun is good, so is Pathfinder, so is Cryptic Research. Don't need that, and the rest is okay. Oh, I messed up. 1 second. That was a deduction. I wasn't supposed to shuffle yet. Sorry about that. But I might as well shuffle again just in case, and then draw. There we go. Now we shuffle. Sorry for messing up that mulligan. Alright, obviously we need to reveal the hand. Alright, deal 2 orange. Okay, not too shabby. Don't want any of this. Well, that's slightly better. Keyword is slightly. Okay, flip this over. 2 shroud, 4 clues. Power plant is connected by the 2 closest copies of combine facility, and vice versa. As an action, you can spend a resource to draw 2 cards. Limit once per round. Time is of the essence. Waste no opportunity or utility. All right, we'll start with Lily Chen as always. I'm going to go ahead and open with the stand together. Gain 2 resources. Draw 2 cards. You gain 2 resources. Draw 2 cards. All right, we got an out of crossroads. I'm going to give that to Lily Chen. It's not going to affect her right now because it's her current turn, but her next round she will have 1 less action. All right, that's rough. All right then, this will go here. I'm going to spend a resource and an action to go ahead and draw 2 cards from this thing. Weakness. I'll take, how do you refresh this one? At the end of the round, if your hand did not have 2 or more cards in it at any point. Yeah, that's not happening. But I'll go ahead and flip this one anyway. Alright, last action. So I have 10 cards on my hand, huh? I can do True Awakening. I'll do, I'm actually going to go ahead and do Stand Together again. Hey, we got one of the cards. And more importantly, we get some cards here. And we trigger Out of Crossroads again. At this point, I am going to go ahead and have Lily Chen take an action. So it won't be in a total waste. I'll do the Ever Vigilant. Which is actually not too bad. I can spend 3 to get out this Runic Axe. I'll spend 1 to get out this Holy Rosary. And then this is level 4, so I can it can go up to 4 assets between the both of us. So 2 assets for Minty Fan, and these will be at reduced cost as well. So spend 2 to get out Pathfinder. It's just assets, right? Yep, any assets. All right. Spend 1 to go ahead and get out the gravity gun. And that'll be it. So that's all been resolved. Okay. That was quite the turn. Oh, I need to discard a random card now. And I lose a Ward of Protection. You know what? I probably deserve that. Alright. Minty Fan. Let's get to work here. It's limit once per round, so it's not group limit, so each person could do this again, but I'm not going to. My first 2 actions are going to be doing spending 4 resources to go ahead and get out Sound Support and Hyun Jae. As always, I apologize if I mispronounced it. And what do we need to do here? We need to get the square to turn into a triangle. Okay, that's doable. We just got to get over there. I'll go ahead and do a Cryptic Research. 1, 2, 3. I got our weakness. Okay. I am going to go ahead and Pathfind move. Actually, before we Pathfind move, I'm just going to investigate in place. 5 to 2. Not going to commit anything to this. Good to go. Get 1 clue. And then we'll Pathfind move. Okie dokie. No enemies, go to upkeep. Alright. And upkeep. Another Burden of Destiny. And I had already moved Minty Fan away. Cool. I can take a damage. Yeah, you know what? I'll just take a horror and a damage at this point. I mean, at least drawing the weakness mend, I don't get a I don't have to discard. All right, first Mythos. We'll shuffle this one more time and get our first Doom. All right, Shield Scanner and a Hopper Mine. That's annoying. All right, into the Mythos phase, we get to spawn another Hopper Mine. Okay, that's going to keep us busy. Investigation phase. Okay, Doki. Fast, I'm going to go. I'll start with Minty Fan. I'm going to go Cryptic Research. 1, 2, 3. All right. I will go ahead and deal with this Hopper Mine. I will spend. I'm going to commit a Eye of Truth, an Analysis, and an Analytical Mind. So that is 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's 3 cards. So I'm going to be 12 to 4. We pass by a lot. Eye of Truth will yank this away. Also, technically, this gets discarded. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and Pathfind move. Yeah, I can't do anything about this guy. I'm not going to worry about him. I'm going to Pathfind move up to here. I didn't even read about the plus sign one, but I'll worry about these as I need to actually replace them. So I need this one to be replaced. So to do that, I can do action 4 total assets. I do have assets. This is an asset. So yeah, as an action, I will go ahead and exhaust all of these. Well, you know what? Before I do that, let's grab the clues off it. This one's exhausted still. Yeah, I'll go ahead and investigate. I'm going to go ahead and spend 1 to do a Practice Makes Perfect, search top 9. I will pick this deduction. All right. So I'm 5, 6, 7 versus 4. I do pass in. If you would succeed by 3 or more, reveal another token. So real quick, I'm at 5, 6, 7 because I didn't do any adjustments. Versus 4, this is -1, so I only pass by 2, so I do not reveal another token. And I only get 2 clues. This goes in my hand because we passed. Okay. And then last action, I will do the exhaust thing that I was talking about before. So we're going to go ahead and replace this Combine facility with the triangle one. And this does change the connection, so you got to be careful about not trapping yourself. This one is investigators among all copies can choose and discard up to 2 cards from their hand as a group and replace the location. After you replace it, you may discard an additional one to move to a connecting location. All right. If the research nexus is connected to this location, if there are fewer than 2 copies, you replace it. Okay. I kind of want the, as far as I can tell, it's not random. So I think I want this one, because that one is not being used by any of the others. So this will go into victory display, and this will go here. Okay. And then for this one, we need diamond and the other thing, which is fine. I'm out of actions on Min. We'll go to Lily Chen next. So we need to deal with this Hopper Mine. So Hopper Mine first. So I do have the benefit of the Eye of Truth. So I will be 8 to 4. We pass. So that one is not going to do any damage when it explodes. And then I'm going to move over. And I will go ahead and do a Runic Axe. I'll do Hunt, Glory, Accuracy, and Elder. That will put me at 6, 7, 8 versus 1. Of course. Why would that? I should have committed a strong arm, but that's whatever. Alright, well, enemy phase, I'm going to get hit for 1 damage. And then upkeep. Actually, at this point, I will go ahead and just I'll use the deny existence and negate the damage, because I'm going to have to discard anyway. I'm glad I've drawn so many of my weakness. That's always what I wanted. I'll just take the 1-1. Tormented Thoughts. Put Tormented Thoughts into play next to the agenda deck. Okay. And Insidious Experiment. We add another tablet token. Alright, and then we... Oh yeah, this thing explodes. This exploded at the end of the round. And then it's going to spawn here because of the shield scanner. Alright, investigation phase. Okie dokie. So for this one, I have to discard cards from my hand to actually make things happen, or I can just spend clues. I am going to go ahead and, yeah, and I believe it said every time I replace it, I do go back to the max amount of clues. Yeah, so this actually works out. Let's go ahead and investigate this location. I'm going to go ahead and do a Sharp Vision. This will put us at 8 to 2. I'll grab both clues. Next, so I'm just making sure things connect. They do. Okay. If I replace this with diamond, we should be fine. So that's what we'll do. I'm going to, as a lightning bolt, spend 2 clues. To go ahead and replace this with the diamond version, which gets refreshed. And then this one is spend 4 resources to do things. All right. Next, I will go ahead and investigate again. I'm going to go ahead and do deduction. Actually, I will spend 1 resource and do practice makes perfect. Search top 9. I'll pick unrelenting. And I'll be committing this deduction. Okay. -1. Alright, so for this I am 5, 6, 7, 8 to 2. So I'll go 7 to 2. So I definitely pass. I draw another token. And I pass. Okay, get both clues. The unrelenting will go into my hand. Deduction will get discarded. I will pathfind move over. And we need to get the squiggly. So for this one is just a willpower test at 4 difficulty. Which I can probably do. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that now. Well, actually, I might as well grab the clues here while I'm here. And this thing's reducing hand size by what, 2? Yep, by 2. Okay. Actually, yeah, that's fine. So we'll do a deduction, 7 to 3. We gotta draw another one, and we pass. We get both clues. Okie dokie. Meanwhile, over here, this time I'll just go Elders and Glory. And you know what? I'll do Accuracy and Power just because I can. So 5, 6, 7, 8 goes 5 to 1, and yeah, I do enough to get a clue from here. This guy dies, and I will go ahead and heal. I will heal a horror. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and try to get the Hopper Mine dealt with. So for the Hopper Mine, I'll go 8 to 4 because of the Eye of Truth. Good to go. And then last action, I am going to go ahead and do a True Awakening. I will heal a horror and get a clue from this location. Okie dokie. Enemy phase, no enemies, upkeep. And this will get go kablooey. Oh, I do need to discard, unfortunately, because I have too many cards in my hand. Let's discard a Spectral Razor. Actually, we will discard a Strong Arm. Alright, third Doom. Oh, sorry, this could be connected to the current agenda or the current act. Honestly, it could be on that. It's fine. Alright. 1 second. Okay, yeah, we should be good. Another one of these. At this point, we'll put all eggs in same basket. Okay. And then over here. Okay. Overwatch Shotgunner. Alright, investigation. Oh boy. Alright. Let's go ahead and start with Minty Fan. Making sure I did all this correct. Yeah. Alright, I will spend an action to go ahead and perform this test here. So willpower 4, I'm currently 4 willpower, so it's 4 to 4. I'm going to commit an Unrelenting and a Eureka. And I'll go ahead and use my ability with it. So I was 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's -1, so 7 versus... Oh, sorry. I was 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I get -1, so I'm 6 to... 6 to 4 here. So I do pass, and I pass by 2, so I don't reveal another token. And I get to replace this, and I can move to a connecting location if I want. So I'll go ahead and replace this with the squiggly. And then this will trigger. So if there are fewer than 2 copies, which there are. Alright, next one. So unfortunately the next one I have to do a little bit of finagling. We'll go with this one. I then can actually move to a different location. If I want to. Yeah, I'll go ahead and move over to this location. I did pass the test, by the way, so search top 3. I'll take a shortcut. Okay, I can spend resources as a group, but I don't have any resources to play, so I'm going to just do a lightning bolt again. Spend 2. 2 clues to go ahead and replace this with the red square. And this will get its clues back. And then I'm going to Pathfind move and shortcut to here and here. And I'm going to go ahead and replace this one with a... so I can either test 3, any skill 3 to replace this. Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll test book and do a perception. So I'll be 8 to 3. Or sorry, 8 to 5. I pass barely, so I do get to replace it, but I don't get a free move out of it. I'll replace this with I need something that connects to squiggly. This will do. And then the clues get maxed out on this. Okay. And I passed by 1. I didn't pass by. I passed by 0, so I only get one card. And then last action, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and investigate this location with a sharp vision. Uh, 5 to 2. I still get 2 clues. Okie dokie. And meanwhile with Lily Chen, I'm going to go power, accuracy, and actually, we'll just go power and elders. No, sorry, don't even do that. Yeah, power and elders, I'll commit a strong arm. So that puts us at 7 to 4. Yeah, power and elders, 7 to 4. We pass. It dies. I'll heal a damage. All right. And then second action, I am going to go ahead and try to get rid of this stupid tormented thoughts. So we are 5 to 4. And we can go 6 to 4, 7 to 4, 8. Actually, that's good enough. So 5 to 4, 6 to 4, 7 to 4. And I'll pick tablet just because I can. Okay. That'll finally get rid of this nonsense. And then last action, I will go ahead and play True Awakening. I'm going to heal a damage and draw 2 cards. All right. Enemy phase, no enemies, upkeep. I've gotten through all the Burden of Destinies at this point. I'll take a damage and horror. All right. Mythos, 4th Doom. Okay. Sparking Machinery. Okay. All right. Currently, there are no enemies on the board. So we don't need to worry about any of that. I'll Pathfind move to here. This one's a fist test, which I'm not going to worry about. Instead, I will just spend the 2 clues. And replace this with the moon. Okay, this is now connected to red square and purple moon. There are 2 copies of the Research Nexus in the victory display, so we don't. Instead, we reveal it. All right. Research Nexus is connected to the 2 closest copies. Got it. Gets +1 shroud value for each horror on it. As a action, you can take a fight action against the Research Nexus as if it were an enemy with a fight value equal to its location shroud value. If you succeed, for each point of damage this attack would deal, remove 1 clue from the Research Nexus. Okay. We advance. Full clearance. It takes tremendous mental effort to grasp the alien mindset needed to circumvent their security measures, but you at last breach the central lab to find it strangely empty. Digital consoles scattered about the room all show data in a combination of English and an ancient language. From what little you can glean, the Vortigaunt's conditions and restraints can be adjusted here if only you knew what was what. Place X horror on Research Nexus, where X is the number of Vortigaunts taken by a Combine. 0. All right, cause and effect. You need to determine which controls depower the machinery hooked up to the captive Vortigaunts and release them. But any wrong moves could accidentally open up their minds for Nyarlathotep. You'll have to be methodical and, if necessary, use the nearby equipment to experiment using yourself. Destroying some of the lab's auxiliary systems should also help isolate which functions have emergency power reserved for them. Lightning Bolt, take a damage or horror. Reduce your location shroud value by 2 for the next action this round, minimum 2. If there are no clues on the Research Nexus, you advance. So that's a way to ensure you get the shroud down if there's any horror on it, but there's none, so we don't need to worry about it. And then you can take a fight action. If you succeed, for each point of damage it would deal, it will remove a clue. So that's another way to get rid of the clues. Okie dokie. I will go ahead and spend an action to move. And then I will go ahead and get to work. I can choose to fight this thing with the gravity gun. That would actually go faster. I won't get the clues, but that's fine. So I can go, what, 6 to 3 here? It's a tool, so I could actually go 7 to 3 if I really want to. So yeah, with an action I'll go 6 to 3 using book. Yeah, it says take a fight action, so I can activate a fight item for this. So yeah, 6 to 3. I succeed, that's just -3. Yeah, just -3. So I do 2 damage, which will get rid of 2 clues. Alright, I'll go ahead and do it again. And do another 2 damage. Yay, gravity gun. It's almost like it was made for this campaign. Alright, meanwhile, Lily Chen. I will go ahead and take a damage to get rid of that sparking thing. And then I'm going to move twice. Actually, I'll move once. And then spin 2 to get out Barney. Alright. Enemy phase, nothing, upkeep. Fifth Doom. Overwatch Sniper, any connecting location, empty if possible. So it'll be this one. Laser Misfire. There are no unstable effects here, so it's just going to be a 4 to 3 test. Sure, I'll do that. 4 to 3. I fail. I'm going to take 2 damage. I'll put 1 here, and I put a Doom on a card, which is fine. And I'll put it on the location itself. Alright, not too worried about this because I'm not moving. Alright, I'm just going to blast this thing. So 6 to 3 and 6 to 3. All these get removed. Alright, emergent complications. With knowledge of the system finally in hand, you input the commands to begin safely powering down the machinery and freeing the Vortigaunts. You eye the estimated completion time nervously as fresh sirens begin to blare through this facility. At the current rate, the whole facility is likely to melt down first. Move each investigator and elite enemy at the research nexus to a connecting location. And if there are no clues on the research nexus, move it to the victory display. Otherwise, remove it from the game. Each investigator loses all their clues. Add all clues to the power plant until there are 4 clues on it. Got it. So we put a clue back on the power plant. And this has no clues on it, so it goes in the victory display. And I get to move to an adjacent location. Let's see, how's it say it? I will move towards an enemy. Okay. At its location or a connecting location. Okay. Okie dokie. Safety valves. You need to get back to the power plant and contain things long enough for the Vortigaunts to escape. The critical moment is now. Action: if you are at power plant, reveal 5 chaos tokens. If bless or curse tokens are revealed, ignore it and reveal another token. Investigators at the power plant may spend any number of clues to cancel 1 token per clue spent. If you did not reveal pretty much any of the bad symbols, place a clue on this act, and once you have 4 clues on the main act, it will advance. Okie dokie. So, I am currently not engaged with any enemies because this enemy is aloof. I'm going to go ahead and Pathfind move down to here, and then I'll do a regular move. Oh wait, no I can't. I can't do any of that because this guy is a jerk. You know, for my final action, I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this subtle manipulation. I'll put a Doom on the enemy. And then I'll Pathfind move down to here. Yeah, that works. Because we're going to advance it regardless. Alright, Lily Chen. I'll spend 4 to get B Cup. And then I'm going to move twice. Okay. Enemy phase. I'm going to get shot for 1 and 1. Put it on the sound support. Upkeep. And upkeep. Right. Mythos, we will advance, so we can go ahead and get rid of all this Doom. And more importantly, get rid of this and that. And see what we get. Zero tolerance. A horde shrieking echoes through the compound, and a pendulous figure descends from the upper levels. Its a repulsive appearance is halfway between a gorged maggot and a waterlogged corpse, but it moves with urgent purpose towards you. That the being, whatever it is clearly allied with the Combine and intends to stop you before you can reach the Vortigons. Put the set-aside Combine Advisor at the lead investigator's location. Combine Advisor, Monster Combine Elite. 4 fight, 2 evade, 8 health, Hunter. When damage would be dealt to Combine Advisor if there are 1 or more other enemies in play. If Combine Advisor is to a Combine Advisor, if there are 1 or more other enemies in play. If Combine Advisor is ready, cancel 1 of that damage, deal the remainder of that damage to another enemy in play. Got it. The bloated alien creature floats listlessly, but with full command of all the Combine tech around it. Hits for 2 and 2. Alright, and then up here we have Nuclear Option. As the Combine Advisor descends, the warp's facility shakes and shudders around you. The hissing of separated pipes and blaring of alarms all warn of something catastrophic in the making. Are the aliens trying to separate their entire facility and escape? If so, your chances of rescuing the Vortigons would evaporate. And the separation would cause the connecting power plants to melt down. You have precious little time to act. 9 Doom to advance. And we got the Synth Hunter as well. For each combat enemy at its location or connecting location, the investigators must choose. Okay, so it gets all the effects. It's going to have all the effects right now. Oh boy. Alright, we got that going for us. And then we got a Yithian Collaborator. Okie dokie. This is going to be interesting. I do want to kill all these things. I just didn't want all of them at the same time. Alright. To another enemy in play. Alright. This thing's just going to hit for 2 damage. Which is not the end of the world, and it's what, every time? Yeah, when damage would be dealt, so any damage at all would do it. Okay. And of course I have this Collaborator on me as well. It's just a never-ending pile of doom. Okay. Not much I can do about it. I was tempted to just drag everything over. I will end up taking 4 and 4 though, and that's a lot of damage. And things could get really ugly from there. So I'm gonna start with Lily Chen. I'm going to and even after we kill the enemies, this thing's still going to have its buffs, which is going to suck, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stick to the plan. I'll spend 1 to go ahead and do Sweeping Kick on this guy. That's going to make me 11 to 3, or 11 to 2. Okay, does 2 damage, and he'll be evaded for now. That's my first action. Second action, I'm going to go ahead and do I'm going to go Hunt, Power. Yeah, Hunt and Power. And that might be all I need. So yeah, Hunt and Power, they'll put me at what, 8 to whatever. Okay, yeah, I'll do Hunt and Power. I'll move over to here and fight the Combine Advisor and see where that puts us. So 8 to 4. Okay, didn't crit fail, that's good. It's going to do only 1 damage, and then I put 1 damage to any other enemy, which I'm going to put on this Overwatch Sniper. I'm then going to go ahead and use the Beat Cop to do another damage, which I'll get just immediately soaked by the Overwatch Sniper and kill it. And then I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 to do Spectral Razor and take this Synth Hunter. This will put us at 12 to 4. And we'll do 3 damage because it's not elite. And that'll be it for Lily Chen. Okay. Next, Minty Fan. This thing's Combine, right? Yep, definitely Combine. Actually, it's just any other enemies. It doesn't even care. All right, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to first try to, well, first I need to heal. I will heal a damage off this. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to evade this guy using the gravity gun, so I'll be 6 to 2. We succeed. The damage that's going to be put has to be put on something else. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the Synth Hunter. All right. Next, I'm going to go ahead and swing at it again. Now I'm just going to attack him. So I'll be 6 to 4. I'll use Hyun to make it 7 to 4. I succeed. I'll do 2 damage. 1 will go on him. And then the other I'll put on the Synth Hunter. Oh, actually, I'm misreading this. What is it? Okay, I misread how that works. All right, 1 second. Well, we'll go back to this real quick. The engagements don't really matter too much, but we'll handle it as is. Okay. So I sweeping kicked, took care of him, and then I moved and attacked this guy with Hunt and Power. It negates 1 of that damage, and then the other damage goes to 1 other guy, which is going to be him. And then the other damage I deal gets negated and gets put on him, so that kills the Overwatch Sniper. And then I did the 3 damage to this guy. So yeah, So it cancels the damage, and then the remainder gets put on another enemy in play. So that's how it works. It's not like my other stuff. It's not like Flesh Ward. All right, and then for Minty Fan, I evaded, did 1 damage, which gets put on this, and then it's going to. Actually, sorry. I evaded and did 0 damage. Oh, okay. I see what I did. I see the mistake I made. This guy still has 1 damage left. And instead of doing the Beat Cop on the Combine Advisor, I'm going to do it on the Synth Hunter, because negating 1 damage literally does nothing. I've already done the evasion, so I'm just going to take my lumps with that one. And then I hit him, reduce the damage by 1. And then I'll put that the remaining damage into the Combine guy here, getting that taken care of. And then I'll make 1 more attack, putting me at 6-4. I will go ahead and commit a Eureka to make it 7-4. I passed, and this can go back into my hand. I search top 3 for a card. I will pick a shortcut. And it'll do, the damage will get reduced by 1 again, and I'll put the last remaining damage into the Overwatch Sniper. So yeah, we so far have done no damage to the Advisor, because everything gets carried over to other monsters. So he's just a walking Flesh Ward, which is really annoying, but that's, at least we cleared out half the enemies, so that is better than the situation we were in just a moment ago. Also, again, I keep forgetting I have this balance of body, but that's okay. No, enemies are all exhausted. Upkeep. I'll have it re-engage you. I have 9 cards in my hand. I'll discard Winging It. And get our first Mythos phase. Okay. You cannot move before or during your first action each round. You cannot move during or after your last action this round. So I can only move on as my second action. So this is Impel. Alright, and then this is a Laser Misfire. So you are, what, 4-4? There are no unstable or teleports, so it's 4-3. We'll commit this Defiance and pick Tablets. And Minty Fan will buff it as well, so it'll be 6-3. Passes. Alright. Investigation phase, let's begin. I'll go with Minty Fan. I'm going to go ahead and attack the Combine Advisor with the Gravity Gun. I'll use Hyunjia for this. I hit. I'll have the remaining damage go to this guy and kill it. And then I'm going to blast him again. This time I will I'll use an analysis. This will put us at 7-4. Good to go. They'll do 2 damage because there's no other enemies now. And then I will go ahead and use a shortcut to move Lily Chen down to here. I'll Pathfind down to join her. And then I'm going to go ahead and start working on this nonsense. So reveal 5 tokens. Or I can investigate. Actually, I'm actually during my third action, so I can't move. That's fine. Oh, also this horror heals. Okay. I'm going to go, as my final action, I will go ahead and just spend 3 to get out the nautical chart. Actually, you know what? I'll just take the Doom. So I will place a Doom down on this thing. And discard this, and then Pathfind move down. Alright, meanwhile, Lowly Chen, you got your work cut out for you. We'll go... we'll go power and accuracy. 2 damage. Power and accuracy. Doesn't really matter for that one. 2 damage. And then power and glory. So 8 to 4. Kills him. And I'll heal a damage. Okay. That was all my actions. Okay. Enemy phase, upkeep. Upkeep. Third Doom. Confiscation field. Attach confiscation field to the nearest location without a copy attached. After you enter the attached location, choose and discard a non-story item asset you control. Well, thankfully, we're not leaving this spot, hopefully. Looming megastructures. Okay. Alright, investigation phase. So, 5 tokens, huh? And we need to get 4 clues on these things in total. Let's start with Lily Chen. I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 to get out a Brandicathuga. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw the 5 tokens. I'll spend 2 clues, so I'll draw only 3. Elder Sign doesn't count, so I do get to place a clue on the act. Progress made. Alright. Last action. I can go 4 to 4 on this. I'll go 8 to 4 with a curse token. Good to go. Actually, sorry, I needed to draw another token. Okay, I still passed. Okay. Meanwhile, over here, Minty Fan. Let's go ahead and grab these clues while we're here. I will go ahead and spend 3 to get out nautical charts, and then use it. This will put us at 6 to 3 because there's +1 shroud. I pass. I will go ahead and discard a handheld portal device. Actually, I will discard a survey the area and get 2 clues. Okay. I'll go ahead and spend 3 clues and only draw 2 tokens. Okay, we get to place a clue on the act. And then we're almost done. Just making sure I did all that right. Yep, that was all correct. All right, enemy, upkeep. Upkeep. If your hand did not have, after the round ends, if your hand did not have 2 or more cards in it. Yeah, I was almost there. Mythos, 4 Doom. Confiscation field again. Sparky machinery. Okay, investigation phase. We're just gonna go all in with Lily Chin here. 5 tokens. Okay, it doesn't, as long as I draw 1, I think. Yeah, so I'm just gonna stop there. Alright, 5 tokens again. Okay, 5 tokens again. Okay, so the curse token didn't count, but the tablet after did. Alright, no luck. Okay, Minty Fan will investigate. Let's see, I was 6, and -1 brings it to 5 to 3. Yep, we're good. I will go ahead and discard a survey of the area to get 2 clues. At this point, I'll go ahead and take an action to take a damage to get rid of at least this thing. And then last action, I will go ahead and spend 3 clues and only reveal 2 tokens. Good. So we need 1 more clue on this. Fifth down. Coordinated assault. I have to search the encounter deck and discard pile for combine enemy and spawn it at your location. Clearly says my location. So we'll just pick the sniper. Since it overrides its spawning rules. Alright, and then Technophobia. Right now it's 3 Shroud, so I'm 5 to 3. Five to 3. We'll go 6 to 3 with Brandon Kathaga. If you fail, take 1 horror and place 1 of your clues, and then take another horror. Okay. We'll put a horror on this sound support, and then a horror on Barney. So 1 was for the fail, and the other one was for not having any clues. All right. Okie dokie. Investigation phase, I'll go ahead and attack the Overwatch Sniper using Hunt and Power and Glory. The Shroud is 3. I'm at 8. So it'd be another one of these. Okay, we're fine. Dies, and I'll heal a horror. Okay. Then, my last 2 actions, I'm just going to try 5 tokens. That's a fail. That's a fail. Glad I'm letting her take it the bad luck. Alright. So at this point, Minty Fan, spend 3 clues and pray. 2 tokens. Nope. No good. Alright. Well, we have to go and get clues now, or hope we get super lucky. You can only do it while you're at the power plant, right? Yep. Okay, that's fine. Pathfind move, and then regular move, and then investigate. That's what we'll do. And I can always discard a non-story item. That's not a big deal. I'll use Yan G for this. So 6, 7, 7 to 4. I pass just barely. I will discard a winging it to get 2 clues. Upkeep. Mythos. 6 of 9. Yithian Theorist. Monster Yithian to fight to evade for health. Spawn any copy of Combine Facility empty if possible as an additional cost to activate an ability on any location or the current act. If the Yithian Theorist is ready, take 1 horror. Oh, also I should have healed last round. I will heal damage. Okay. So that's a problem. We'll put him over here. And then for you, another one. That's annoying. Okay. So activating anything, an ability on any location. Or the current act. So you can still activate things on the confiscation field, so that's fine. It's just everything else is terrible. Okay. That kind of ruins a lot of plans. All right, Lily Chen. I'll go ahead and do a hunt and power to here. All right, I will do power and accuracy at this point. And then power and accuracy, or power and glory, sorry. Okay, so that one is dead. Heal damage. I'll pathfind down to here, get engaged by you. I will blast you with the gravity gun. That'll make us 6-2. And then do it again, 6-2. You're dead as well. And then we are going to move up this way. Upkeep. I do take 1 horror. Oh, I should have healed, and then I'll take the horror. At a crossroads, I'm going to take an action, and I'm going to go ahead and do nautical charts, and use Hyunli or Hanji. So that'll put me at 7-5. I will commit a perception to this. I succeed. I will discard. I can choose the resolution. I'll draw 2 cards first, and then I'll discard an analytical. I'll discard an analytical mind to get 2 clues from here, and then I'll discard a random card. Uh, 7 of 9. Another Lumi megastructure. Laser misfire. This location doesn't have anything. At this point, I'm just going to do ward protection and take the horror. Alright, investigation phase. Alright, first I'm going to go ahead and move into here and lose my runic axe because of the confiscation field. I will go ahead and draw 5 tokens. Alright, already failed. And do it one more time. And already failed. Okay. Ben T Fan. Pathfind move, and then move normally. I'll discard the nautical charts. And then I will spend 4 clues and draw 1 token. Fuck. Alright, 5 tokens. Oh, come on. Okay, well, we get 1 more chance. Also, I should have healed a horror. There we go. Here it is, last round. Cannot move to unrevealed locations or locations with more clues. Okay, that's fine. Any location empty if possible. Alright. I would love to kill that guy. So we do have the resources to replace this one. Problem is getting all the clues necessary for it. I'm just gonna start with Minty Fan. We'll just pray. Already failed. Try again. Already failed. Try again. Already failed. Yeah, I'm actually impressed how bad this luck is. I'll try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we did it. Holy crap. Alright, so just to read real quick. Any curse tokens, you just ignore it and reveal another one. Elder Signs are not bad. And I drew 5 tokens. So we gotta put a clue on this act, and we're out of here. We missed the victory on this guy, but honestly, we were pretty close to doom here. I think it's like, that's just resolution 1. I don't know what resolution 1 would have been. Oh, it would have killed everybody. Cool, we almost lost. Alright, 4 clues on this act, you advance. All things in time. Sweat drips down your forehead as you rush between the power plant consoles, adjusting and venting haphazardly to keep the core from a total meltdown. It all seems to be an exercise in futility as the alarms keep their steady droning amid the violent shaking. There's a real chance that resolution 2. So yeah, the other way, we could have gone back into these things and just refreshed the clues and try to grab them, but that takes time. It takes an action to do the swap, and then it takes actions to get the clues. It was just unfortunate that we got really, really bad luck. Obviously, 5 tokens, your chances are pretty poor with the way the tokens are set up. I mean, the majority of them are the good ones, but the chance of drawing any of the 6, and if you got really unlucky and had these where are they? The Insidious Experiments, that would have made it even worse. And there's not much you can do about it either once you get them. We also almost cycled through the encounter deck. It was pretty close there. All right. So resolution 2, you take a sudden ragged breath inward, and your eyes snap open like a drowning victim coming up for air. A catastrophe lies before you, an explosion with all its light and heat, all frozen in place. Time has stopped at the moment that the power plant began to detonate. Be not afraid. The familiar raspy tone of a Vortigaunt voice sounds calmly behind you, but with a rare urgency to it. Disaster is but a moment away. We shall make it last, but there is much to be done. One by one, the other freed Vortigaunts appear around you, each chanting and glowing with a panoply of colors. The nearest Vortigaunt continues speaking tensely. Vortessence is both space and time. We have woven it around this facility. The flow of time has been dammed at great peril. We have opened ourselves for this task, and the vortessence is vulnerable. Insidious laughter burst all around you, echoing from everywhere and nowhere. The same laughter you recall from the raid on the Resistance headquarters. Nyarlathotep is close. Its prize is now within reach. Add both a tablet and a Elder Thing. And I'll go ahead and remove that curse, because we don't need it. Okay. Each investigator earns experience equal to Victory X, value of each card in the victory display. So unfortunately, these things on their backside don't actually register on this thing, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 experience. So Minty Fan will go up to 7. Lily Chan will go up to 6, thanks to the great work. I'm not going to worry about keeping track of the total XP since I have all the stat boosting disciplines at this point. All right, and then we go to scenario 7, the wrong place. So yeah, I remember what the wrong place is, and it kind of was a downer for the burn after readings, unfortunately, because of how it's set up. You can still use it, burn after readings, to help get you clues, but beyond that, it's not very effective. All right. Well, in any case, I'll go ahead and put a break here and spend XP. Okay. Well, first I can hear you guys screaming. So the key thing about Vortal Attunement is it doesn't have to be a skill check. So when I drew that one token, I could have just canceled it, and that would have been enough to get us out of there. So that was my bad. But we passed anyway, so yay for not... I mean, being able to beat this without Vortal Attunement is always a plus, I suppose. In any case, so I decided to go... I had 7 experience on Min. As mentioned, I already know with prior knowledge that Burn After Reading is not super effective for this one. And in the case of Min, every card that I exile is actually kind of important, even the low-level stuff. The main reason, obviously the clues are nice, but the big thing here is you can use this in the last scenario to remove Doom from the current agenda. When we do the next scenario, it'll become clear why that's not that useful in this one. In this case. So with that in mind, I definitely needed something. There is a new permanent card with the latest expansion called Spiritual Healing. It's a condition blessed. It costs 4 and limit 1 per deck, and just taking it can just reduce one of your traumas, which is kind of neat. It's not something you really plan for. It's more of a I've already built everything and I have already gotten observed, and then I just buy this just to make myself a little bit better. Speaking of, I am going to spend 4 experience on observed. There's not really much else I can really care about for Minty Fan. With 7 experience, I could go Ancestral Knowledge, which would get me 5 more card slots to play around with, but to be honest, none of those really... I don't exactly want to make the deck bigger. I mean, having 5 skills set aside is really, really good. But I think I'd rather have observed at this point for 4, and that leaves me with 3 experience remaining because I have 7. And I'm going to replace my 2 analysis with a level 2 and level 1 test of will. Analysis is good, but I either don't have clues or I'm not willing to drop clues to redraw the token. This is pretty much here designed to help ensure that I pass either a very important check, or in most cases the important check where I'm spending 3 cards to try to get rid of my weakness, my king in yellow. But with this kind of changed up deck that's more not as flexy as my previous one and my previous run, I feel like I don't need it as much, and I feel like I refresh my deck, my hand so much that king in yellow is not as devastating as it used to be. So with that in mind, I go ahead and I'm going to drop these 2 analyses and pick up these. So the level 0 Test of Will I think costs 2, and it's a fast effect. You do it in response to a non-weakness treachery card, and you would do a willpower 3 test to essentially cancel it, or cancel the revelation effect. The level 1 version will always cancel it, but you will exile a Test of Will after the fact. The level 2, and it costs 1 to play. The level 2 version costs 0 to play. It will automatically cancel the revelation effect, and then if you fail a follow-up willpower 3 test, you will exile it. So this is essentially just 2 warded protections that I'm hoping to make use of. And if I end up getting them exiled, then I just made my deck smaller and easier to sift through. So that's the plan for that. And of course, like I mentioned, I have observed, and that's just hopefully going to give me a little bit of a boost for the final encounter. Meanwhile, over here, like I've mentioned, I kind of have regrets about this Lily deck. Don't get me wrong, Lily Chen's amazing, and this deck is more or less still functional in the role she plays. But there's a lot of things I feel like I don't really need. I definitely don't need the strong arms anymore. I mean, I did get some auto fails, but I just been using these just for the symbols, which is not a good place to be. But I'm not willing to drop them at this point. So for now, with 6 experience, I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 to get my own sound support on Lily Chen, because she is a warden. And Min's able to use it because she's an assistant. Speaking of the specialist cards, unfortunately, the sound support is kind of the only thing Min can get, because assistant, she only has 1 keyword, and assistant only covers so much. Besides that, I'm going to go ahead and replace one of my spectral razors. I've used them a couple of times, but most cases I've been just using them for the willpower. And sound support is just going to give me the tankiness that I really need. Also, it's another asset, which just means a higher chance of having all the assets I need to do Ever Vigilant. So that's 4 experience because of Down the Rabbit Hole. I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my remaining Overpower to level 2, which costs 1, putting me at 5 experience. And then at this point, I'm just going to upgrade one of the Holy Rosaries to the level 2, which will cost me 1, bringing me to 6. Well, we've seen the level 2 Holy Rosary. I honestly don't really care for it, but hey, if we get a Blessed Token, great. So that's what we're looking at. Honestly, the great work, the extra experience, I barely feel it. I mean, we did get, over the course of this, we did get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 extra experience. But unfortunately, I was kind of sloppy on how I spent it, and it definitely showed. Like I mentioned in the previous videos, where I said I'm probably going to start with the Branded Cthulhus in my starting decks now with Lily Chen to take full advantage of the Down the Rabbit Hole stuff and to have more combat options early on. But the other thing I've also been considering is with the in the thick of it, taking 2 physical trauma and then just picking up 2 arcane researches just so I can level up the Brand of Cthulhus for free. But that's pretty risky, but it might be something I may try just to see if I can go kind of full glass cannon and just take advantage of the things like the spectral shields and all that. Oh yeah, that was the other reason why I wanted to start with the Brand of Cthulhus in the future is so I can implement spectral shield. Honestly, if I had spectral shield, I would be spending a lot less resources on glory. That's to say the least. In any case, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. We got the wrong place, the final scenario for the Half-Life custom campaign. And thankfully, we didn't explode in a critical mass. So, I am the Depressed Dior. This was Arkham 4 with the card game. I'll see you guys next time.